A modern freight train has stalled on a Nebraska grade, then the railroad sends something to help. An engine that had spent decades standing in a museum. Big Boy 4014 was designed when steam still ruled American railroads. Diesel locomotives later pushed machines like it out of regular service because they were easier and cheaper to operate. Yet here was 4014 again, being asked to do real work beside the technology that replaced it. That leaves an obvious question. If diesel made steam locomotives obsolete, why can a machine like Big Boy still be useful? The answer begins with a detail that is easy to miss. Steam did not disappear because it suddenly became weak. Let's get into it right here on Small Things. Steam didn't lose. Because it was weak, Big Boy sat close to the extreme of what steam could become, huge, powerful, and built for freight work that smaller locomotives struggled to handle. But within roughly 2 decades of its arrival, railroads were rapidly replacing steam with diesel. The reason was practical. A steam locomotive needed time before it could move. A fire had to be built, water heated, and boiler pressure raised. Once underway, it depended on fuel, water, maintenance facilities, and crews trained to keep a complicated mechanical system working hour after hour. Diesel changed that routine. It could start quickly, run farther between service stops, and return to work with less attention. Several diesel units could also be linked and controlled from a single cab. A railroad could add more power without adding another full crew for every locomotive. Railroads did not earn money from how impressive an engine looked. They needed machines that spent more of the day moving freight and less of it being prepared, watered, inspected, or repaired. Steam lost on economics, availability, and logistics, not simply on pulling ability. So if Big Boy was expensive and demanding to operate, why had Union Pacific built something so enormous in the first place? Why Big Boy had to be so big? The answer was waiting in the route. Union Pacific needed to move very heavy freight over demanding grades without constantly adding more locomotives. That called for immense pulling force at low speed, especially when a train was starting from rest or climbing. Big Boy was shaped around that job. It used 16 driving wheels, and much of the locomotive's weight rested on them. That weight helped the drivers press firmly against the rails, giving the engine a better chance of turning cylinder force into motion instead of wheel spin. Its size served the work directly. The train behind it could weigh thousands of tons, and gravity did not care how elegant the locomotive looked. But making a locomotive bigger creates another problem. A long, rigid wheelbase does not like curves. How a giant locomotive takes a curve. Big Boy solved that problem with an articulated design. Part of its running gear could pivot as the locomotive followed the rails. From the outside, the machine still looked like one enormous block of steel. Underneath, it had enough flexibility to negotiate curves that a rigid frame would struggle to handle. That articulation was not a small detail added for convenience. Without it, the locomotive's size would have worked against the very railroad it was built to travel. So Big Boy had to do 2 things at once: carry enough machinery and weight to produce enormous pulling force, while still bending through the track beneath it. And even after engineers solved that problem, the locomotive still faced a much smaller one. Every ton behind it ultimately depended on a contact patch only a few centimeters across, where steel meets steel. A steel wheel on a steel rail does not look like it should provide much grip. Yet that tiny contact area has to transmit the force that moves an entire freight train. Steam pressure pushes the pistons. The rods drive the wheels. The wheels push backward on the rail, and the rail pushes the locomotive forward. But the contact has a limit. Ask the wheels for more force than the available adhesion can support, and they spin instead of pulling. That is wheel slip. This is why weight over the driving wheels matters so much. It gives the locomotive more adhesion, allowing more of the cylinder's force to reach the rail before the wheels begin to slip. It also explains why horsepower tells only part of the story. Horsepower describes how quickly work can be done, but when a long freight train is starting from rest or crawling uphill, the immediate problem is different. How much pulling force can the locomotive put into the track without losing grip? Big Boy was designed around that exact moment. Its cylinders could produce huge force. Its weight helped keep the driving wheels planted. 16 drivers spread that work across the rail. That combination remained useful long after steam stopped making economic sense. The next question was whether any big boy would ever get the chance to prove it again. 50 years as a museum piece. Big Boy 4014 made its final runs in 1961 after traveling more than 1,000,000 miles. It was later sent to the Rail Giants Train Museum in Pomona, California. There, it became a monument to a finished era. Visitors could climb into the cab, stand beside the driving wheels, and imagine what it had once felt like to move a machine of that scale. The locomotive itself remained silent, but it was not abandoned. Volunteers lubricated parts of the running gear, protected the cab, and slowed the damage that decades outdoors could have caused. They were preserving a display with no guarantee it would ever run again. That quiet care turned out to matter. By 2012, Union Pacific was considering something few people expected, returning a Big Boy to operating condition. Number 4014 was chosen, and in 2013 the long process of bringing it back began. Moving it to Wyoming was difficult. Making it a locomotive again was far harder. You can't just restart a 1941 locomotive. The challenge was not making 4014 look new. The challenge was making systems designed in the early 1940s work reliably again. Big Boy had originally been built to burn coal. Union Pacific wanted 4014 to burn oil, but a firebox shaped around one fuel does not automatically behave well with another. The combustion system had to be redesigned. Engineers installed a new fire pan and oil burner. Steam atomized the fuel into a fine spray, while carefully managed airflow supplied oxygen where combustion needed it. The goal was steady, even heat across a firebox large enough to make poor flame distribution a serious problem. Getting the fire right solved only one part of the restoration. Many original components no longer existed on a shelf. Machinists worked from old drawings, inspected surviving parts, measured them, and manufactured replacements for parts unavailable for decades. Even a mechanically complete Big Boy still had to enter a railroad world that had changed around it. Braking, communications, inspections, and modern operating requirements all had to coexist with machinery conceived before most of today's rail technology existed. Modernization continued after 4014 returned to service. Union Pacific later adapted positive train control to the locomotive. By then, Big Boy was no longer simply an antique under restoration. It had become a working machine carrying pieces of two eras at once. In May 2019, all of that work faced a very simple test. Could the wheels turn again? When 4014 moved again, steam pressure climbed inside the boiler. The oil-burning system fed heat into the firebox. Then the engineer opened the throttle. For the first time in nearly 6 decades, Big Boy 4014 moved under its own power. Its 16 driving wheels began turning again, carrying the locomotive out of restoration and back onto active railroad. This was not a short museum demonstration. 4014 had been restored to travel on the modern rail network, sharing track with the diesel locomotives that had once replaced machines like it. A locomotive that had spent half a century standing still could move under its own power again. That alone was remarkable. But moving itself was one thing. Moving a modern freight train would be something else entirely. The moment the old technology was needed again. In June 2023, a westbound freight train stalled on Blair Hill in Nebraska. A stopped freight on an active route is more than an inconvenience. Until it moves, the track it occupies cannot do its normal job. Big Boy 4014 happened to be nearby, returning from an appearance in Omaha. Union Pacific put it to work. 4014 coupled onto the freight. Steam pressure rose. The engineer opened the throttle. The driving wheels slipped briefly against the rail. Then they caught. The couplers stretched tight. One car began moving, then the next, and the long freight started climbing the grade. Now the earlier physics was visible. The cylinders supplied the force. The locomotive's weight helped keep the drivers planted. The driving wheels turned that grip into motion. 4014 was back in the kind of work its designers had built it for more than 80 years earlier. There was no need to pretend this was a contest in which steam had somehow defeated diesel. Big Boy had simply been given a task that still matched one of its greatest strengths, producing useful pulling force at low speed. And that is what makes the moment interesting. A machine can leave regular service for decades and still retain the engineering qualities that once made it valuable. Diesel still won the larger argument. It was easier to operate at railroad scale, easier to combine into multiple unit consists, and far better suited to the economics of modern freight service. Big Boy reveals something different. A technology can become obsolete because the system around it changes, even while the machine remains capable of the task it was built to perform. Heavy trains still fight inertia. Grades still pull against them. Steel wheels still have to find grip on steel rails. Those physical limits did not disappear when steam left regular service. Big Boy had been designed around them from the beginning. Diesel ended the age of the Big Boy. It never repealed the physics that made Big Boy work. If a machine can be obsolete and still useful, what other old technologies do you think we may have underestimated? Share your pick in the comments. And if you enjoy discovering the hidden engineering behind things that seem simple, subscribe to SST for more stories like this.